Hi, my name is Tony. I'm an engineer here at Rocketown, also a student at Belmont, and today we're going to be going over the White Building. When you get to the White Building, all engineers and bands will be parking behind the building in this gravel lot. So you'll park back here, and this door right over there is where you will load in and load out from. After you park behind the building, you're going to come around to the main entrance here, and it should be unlocked for you. If it's not, you'll have to go to the main venue, and somebody at the coffee bar staff will be able to let you in. After you enter the building, the first order of business will be to turn on all the house lights located behind the front of the house. Next, we're going to be getting everything that we need for Monitor World. It's located back in the space that we call Gearheads. Alright, now we're going to set up the console. You need to have the easy tilt with the back end facing towards the stage and the shallow end of the road case facing towards this wall. Now we're going to unlatch the top of the case. Next, we're going to connect the snake that attaches the split in the monitor console to the stage box that goes to front of house. When you start patching in the snake, you want to make sure that all the channels labeled on here are going one-to-one with the stage box. So channel 1 on the snake will plug into channel 1 on the stage box. When you're done patching the stage box, this is what it'll look like. Channel 1 through channel 28 will be patched one-to-one, and keep in mind this is a 28 channel snake, although front of house is 32 channels. But the last 4 channels will be taken up by front of house talkback, left and right for iPod, and a mono reverb return. So bear in mind that the maximum amount of inputs you can have on stage at any point in time is 28. After you're done patching up the stage box, what you're going to do is take the female ends of this snake and run them over to the monitor console. Now once you get to the monitor console, you'll see a female XLR and a male XLR. What you're going to do is take the female end of the snake and plug it one-to-one into the male input, or the male split output of this console. When you're done patching the console with the snake that's coming from the stage box, this is what it's going to look like. So 1 through 28 on this console will correspond with 1 through 28 on the snake and 1 through 28 on the stage box. For the sake of neatness, what you want to do is take the excess slack that's behind and tuck it into the doghouse like this and run it along just so that it looks cleaner and nicer. This right here is the tech case for Rocketown. Inside you will find microphones, DIs, more microphones and more microphones. In the second cabinet down, XLR. Third cabinet down will be sub-snakes, and the bottom cabinet is all the power requirements that you will need. Please make sure when you're taking anything into or out of this tech case that you put it back as neat or neater than you found it. Next, what we're going to do is go underneath stage and find the 4-channel loom with the female ends, and these female ends will be labeled corresponding to the mixes on stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they will go to the outputs of the console at 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these outputs will be running into the graphic equalizers located above the power amp rack for front of house. Normally when we do shows here at Rocketown in the White Building, we mix monitors from front of house. But since we have a dedicated monitor console, we have to do a little bit of rearranging with our patching at the stage box. So what we're going to do is now take the loom, that is a 4-channel loom with male connectors on it, and these will be labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they will correspond to 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the inputs to the power amps for the stage monitors. So when you're done patching in the sends to the monitor amps, this is what they'll look like. 3 will go to 1, 4 will go to 2, 5 will go to 3, and 6 will go to 4. Next, you're going to go get a stage box out of the tech cabinet and lay them on stage where you will need them, and run them back to the monitor console. From here, you will take the male ends and patch them in 1-to-1 from the first channel of the monitor desk to the first channel of the subsnake. And as we're setting the stage, we're going to label the XLR on this end, and at the subsnake in the exact same manner. So if this is our center vocal, this will say center vocal here, and then center vocal on the subsnake. So now I'm going to give you a basic overview of signal flow from the microphone throughout the rest of the system. We're going to start with the XLR at the microphone, which is going to be plugged into the subsnake, which runs into the split, which in this instance is located inside the console. So from the split at the console, it's going to go through the monitor desk, and then from the monitor desk, the split is going to send the signal to the front of house stage box, and the stage box will send that signal to the front of house console. So let's go through the monitor output signal flow. From the mix outputs, those are going to go to the 4-channel loom that we plugged in earlier. From that 4-channel loom, it'll go into the graphic equalizers. From the graphic equalizers, it'll go into the crossovers. From the crossovers, it'll go into the power amps. Then the power amps will feed the speakers located on stage. After we plug in the console's power supply, we're going to plug it into the power that is going to be located underneath the stage. So now, after we've powered on the monitor console's external power supply, we're going to come to front of house and power on the Furman located in the second rack space. All you need to do is just flip the on switch, and everything from front of house to all the front of house processing will be turned on. So after we have both of our consoles at monitors and front of house powered up and made sure that all of their outputs are muted, we're going to come back to these 2 racks and start the power on sequence. We'll start with the 2 monitor EQs, which will be the top units. Next, we'll move to the EAW processor, which is for front of house and controls all of our crossover and limiting for the front of house system. From there, we'll turn on the 4 power amps. After which, we'll move to the monitor rack. We will turn on the top 2 crossovers. The power button is located all the way on the far right. These are both recessed, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but if you just look inside, you'll see power button and power button. And then after the crossovers are on, we'll turn on the power amps, and our system is ready to roll. So, bands will load in from the door located by the gravel parking lot. This is where all engineers and musicians need to park when they come to Rocketown. When bands bring in their gear, they will take all of their dead empty cases to stage right, making sure that the exit by stage right is always kept clear because that is a fire exit and we don't want to break any fire codes. If bands want to load out in between acts, they will use the stage right door to do so. And if they want to wait until the end of the night to load out, they can load out either to the gravel parking lot or to the stage right door. Now onto security. During the shows, Both the monitor world and front of house council should be kept clear of everybody except for designated engineers at monitor world and designated engineers and Rocketown staff at front of house. Also, before doors open, barricade will need to be set on stage left and on stage right. And lastly, this will be placed by the main entrance to the building so that security can check people as they're coming in and out of the building. Now let's talk about stage lighting. To turn on all lighting power, you're going to come back to the breaker panel that is to the left of the wireless routers in the room. You will open up the panel. There are 3 breakers that should be in the off position with yellow tape next to them. You're just going to turn all 3 of those on and you'll have power to your breakers. Make sure at the end of the night it is very imperative that these all get turned back off. Leaving breakers on for extended periods of time to dimmer packs can potentially cause fires, and we don't want to burn the place down. Now we're going to set up the lighting council. The lighting council will be located in the coffee bar area right here. You just need to take it out and it will be set up right next to front of house. There will be a 5-pin DMX and a power cable that are taped together. Those go into the back of the console. The DMX will go here, power will go here. Then make sure you flip the console on and the lighting rig is ready to go. So once you have the lighting console set up, you're gonna go turn the master fader all the way up to 10, and then the corresponding channels on this console will give you stage lighting. And these are all labeled as they are on stage. Let's go over the basic layout of the Soundcraft LX7 II. At the top of the channel, you have your gain next to the high pass. Phantom power is provided in banks of 4 on this console. Next section is your parametric EQs, aux sends that are pre or post fade, and then post fade only aux sends, pan controls, mute, unmute, bus assigns, so center, mix, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fader. As we mentioned earlier, the Soundcraft is a 32-channel console, but we only have 28 channels available for onstage inputs. The last 4 channels of these are used up by channel 29 being the lexicon return, channels 30 and 31 being the 1/8-inch input for an iPod or a laptop for house music, and then finally channel 32, which is the talkback line. Next, let's go over front of house processing. This is located in the rack underneath the front of house console. In the first rack space, there is a power distribution that you won't need to touch. Underneath that is the Furman that we turned on when we initially started the system. This will control all the power for front of house and the processing in this rack. Underneath that is a DBX 1231 graphic equalizer. This provides equalization for the left and right mains. Underneath that are 4 DBX 266 XLs. These provide gates, expanders, and compression. Underneath the DBX 266 XLs is a Lexicon MX200. This provides delay and reverb. Underneath the Lexicon are 4 more channels of graphic equalization, but because we're using a dedicated monitor console, we do not need these. These are used when monitors are run from front of house in this room. And below that, in case you ever need it, is a Sony CD player. Here at Rocketown, we also provide a coffee bar for patrons of the music venue. Their work area will be located right next to your work area, so just keep in mind that they are working just as hard as you are during the show, and that they need their space just as much as the engineers need their space. Keep in mind that they also may be coming and going back and forth behind you, so just be considerate of everybody around you and try not to overcrowd into their area. So let's break down the procedures at the end of the night. The first thing you're going to want to do is tear down the stage and dispose of any and all trash located on there. Next, you'll want to clean XLRs, subsnakes, and stands of any and all labeling. After wrapping up all cabling and breaking out all the microphone stands, make sure that they're put away neatly in their appropriate places. When you're getting ready to power down the system for the night, make sure it goes in reverse order of the way it was powered on. So power amps will go off first, and then processing, and then consoles. Next, you're going to want to unplug the input snake and coil it neatly. While you are doing that, you'll also need to re-plug in the monitor sends back to where they were originally patched. Pack up the console, put any tape in the doghouse, and then roll the console back into the storage room in gear heads. Also make sure that the snake and easy tilt end up in gear heads along with the monitor console. Next, you want to put bike racks back on stage right. Next, you're going to kill all the lighting breakers located in the breaker box to the left of the routers near stage left. Next, you'll turn house lights off and then check out with Rocketown staff. You do not need to worry about locking up the building. Rocketown staff will take care of that for you. And one last note, make sure you're always on time and that you're always out by the scheduled time. If you have any questions, you can check the calendar at the link below.